So couples from where have the happiest sex lives? Is it Austria, Japan or Canada? The answer is Austria.
Now, a global survey by the University of Chicago found Austrians were the most satisfied as far as their sex lives went, and the Japanese were the most unhappy. Cheers for that, Amy. Could you cope with sex every day for a year?
I think
Want to try?
All right.
OK. I love TV, man. I love it. So, could you cope with sex every day for a year, or maybe even longer? Do you think it would be a blessing or a curse? An American woman called Charla Muller from North Carolina promised her husband Brad, just that. That was accidental. Just that as his 40th birthday present. Charla thought she should make an extra special effort for 365 days in a row because their sex lives have been going through the doldrums. They've been married for 10 years and they had 2 children to put up with. Brad's initial reaction wasn't what Charla expected. He said she was being unrealistic, didn't seem that keen on the idea.
He ran off.
Well, he couldn't, he was tied down. Max Mosley waiting in the wings, yes. After all, the average couple only has sex 3 times a week. And as it turned out, the spontaneity did vanish in their relationship, and at times, having sex did feel like a chore. And it's also true to say they didn't quite make 365 days. Nearly, but not quite. But Charla told the Daily Mail her birthday gift did do wonders for their marriage. Brad, on the other hand, was too tired to speak. So, do you fancy sex every day? Maybe that's exactly what you're getting. Amy hit the streets to find out.
That's a blessing. I have to say it, he's right here.
Well, it defeats the whole point of it, because it's supposed to be off the cuff. So you're making something that should be a pleasure into kind of a demand. So I think if you're being forced to have it every day, then no. But if impulsively you want to have sex every day, well, great. How fantastic.
It's definitely a blessing. You rate a relationship on how good the sex is. It's the barometer.
Every day, I think it's not possible. Only on holidays, maybe.
It's a blessing because she's really fit and I really like her.
That's evil, right?
It is a fascinating discussion. A fascinating discussion. Janet, what do you think? Every day? For a year?
I think she should have been a little more imaginative with her 40th. It's a big birthday. I just don't like the sort of obligation side of that. And I think, actually, having said that, and controversially, I do think there's a big argument for having sex when maybe one or other of you didn't think it was the most brilliant idea at the time, because the end result is sort of fine. And I think that couples can get into the habit of not having sex for all sorts of reasons.
And I think that's what she was trying to
address. So something that says, you know, let us do this even if we might be tired, have a better idea, have to get up early, whatever. You know, I think there is an argument because it is part of a relationship and a very important part of a loving relationship.
And history tells us long relationships, children involved, sex goes down. When the lack of intimacy,
so
we're
I think,
talking about intimacy
yes, without being too girl-guided about it, I think you'd have to make a bit of an effort sometimes, but I think it's worth it. I think it does retain the intimacy, which you were talking about yesterday, and I think that's incredibly important. And physical intimacy is, after all, the great gift of a relationship.
Just before I go to the guys, are you surprised or not that Brad his initial reaction wasn't one of, oh, yes, please, but it was actually...
No, I think actually that says more about the strength of their relationship than anything, that he could be honest enough not to pretend that was like,
just about the stereotype that blokes are supposed to be, you know...
Yes, that he didn't
gagging
say...
for it all the time,
exactly, you know, yes, put this on and we'll go for it. You know, I think actually it was better for him to say, I'm not sure. But obviously, you know, he went along with it as best he could, but, you know, maybe it's just me, I think, what if she had a cold? And,
I reckon he'd rather... Well, I think he'd prefer to get socks, to be honest. Oh, shut up! I think sex every day physically impossible, and I take issue with your statistic. But most couples
physically impossible, rubbish.
Yeah, no, well, personally speaking, physically impossible. I'd be a husk.
You've got 4 kids, though. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I take issue with your stat as well about average couples have it 3 times a week. I don't buy that. That's bravado. I mean, bravado in the street. Oh yeah, 3 times, mate. But actually,
3 times a night.
Yeah.
I was going to say, was Brad upset it was only once a day that was on? That's the problem.
It's interesting though, because the stereotype is always that men are gagging for it, women are the ones with headaches, and yet it's a completely different painting.
It's almost like those sorts of prenups, isn't it? It makes it into sort sort of contract, and you will do this and you will do that. And,
but maybe the benefit of that lack of spontaneity, that the benefit for the relationship makes it worthwhile. We should all be doing it.
Possibly. I mean, why not? There's never too much harm in it, is it? But I just think that, you know, oh, it's today, and you've got to do that, and you get smash on the shoulder, and it's like...
In the article, they'd say things like, if they had, you know, a busy night, then they'd have to make plans, you know, you've got to come around at 5 o'clock. I mean, it really was very contrived, how they would get round to doing it. But it showed they made effort, and they were thinking about each other, and they were planning, and that's no bad thing.
There are many ways, though, I think, that you can show you care. I don't think that's necessarily... I mean, it's part of the loving relationship, but I don't think it's the be-all and end-all.
The only thing I can equate it to, Matthew, is trying for a baby, and there's nothing more stressful than trying for a baby.
But that's because you've got an end result in mind. If it's just, you know, a bit of a fumble and a bit of a laugh, fantastic. No long-term costs or consequences.
Off the cuff, you mean?
Fantastic quote, wasn't it, lady?
Unfortunate expression.
Luckily, the viewers can all hear us go like children for that one. And now, psychologist Angela Matanda is with us this morning. What do you make of it, Angela? Is it? I mean, I think it is unrealistic, but maybe...
It's exhausting just thinking about it. I mean, she went from a sex dodger to a sex pro, saying, you know, this is a gift. And I wonder whether it was actually a gift for him or more therapy for her. Sort of saying, you know, I need to get to the bottom of what the problem is here. And I think that's actually what she discovered, that they do have that closeness, they can have that intimacy. And the poor guy had been feeling very rejected when she was in her sex dodging stage.
Would you recommend, right, you have 2 clients, married clients, coming together, if you'll excuse the turn of phrase, to meet you.
That would be good.
And their relationship is not terminally in decline, but it's going through the doldrums. Would you ever advocate, why don't you try sex every day for a year?
No. I would not. And the thing is, what I would advocate is that, first of all, the couples need to communicate and find out exactly what the issues are. And it sounds to me as if she didn't communicate that at all. It was just, here's your gift and you have to go through with it. And if people feel like that, then they feel under pressure to perform every single day. Actually, the thing about that is that if there's a problem, you take the pressure off so that people can actually reevaluate their relationship and get it back in balance. You know, and I also take issue with the 3 times a week. I think that's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, after children, that's...
I feel like Russell Brand on Viagra.
Oh, I think that's exhausting.
Thank you very much for that. Let's go to the phones, Amy.
OK, let's go straight to
Don't like to boast.
straight to Molly on line 2.